Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope your Monday is off to a fabulous start. Thanks for joining me. Well, I'm here today for Reverse Confetti with the Stock Your Stash Challenge for April. This month's monthly card making challenge is all about moms, dads, and grads. If you want to know more about the Stock Your Stash Challenge, it is basically a challenge where you create a project using Reverse Confetti items. And then you can upload them on the Reverse Confetti blog, and then there's a chance to win a $20 gift card. So details for this, more details, are over on my blog if you want to check it out. But I'm using the Foodie Fun stamp set. This is a cute little food-based stamp set, and I love the olive in here. It says Olive You. So I thought we would put this together with the Dad Sentiment from the Mom and Dad Word Duos confetti cuts. Nice mom and dad die set. I'm going to take some white cardstock and we're going to ink up our olives with Distress Oxide inks. I like the colors of these. And we're going to make a green and a black olive. So I'm inking up with peeled paint, and I'm going to stamp it a few times. I want a rich olivey color here. And I have forest moss that we're going to do a little bit of gradient color. To do this is very easy. You just curl on the edge. You can go any edge of your stamp with a secondary darker ink, and it creates a little bit of a gradient on your image. I flip my panel over and I'm bringing in black soot Distress Oxide ink. We'll stamp this a few times to create our black olive, and we're just using 2 olives for our card today. Now, I haven't did a masculine card in a while, but whenever I do masculine cards, I think I go through my stash and I find anything textured that I can find. Pattern papers are very easy to create masculine cards with, and so I went through my stash and found different patterns from lots of different paper pads. So I can't list just one paper pad, but the pattern paper that I'm using is pretty basic. So I did fussy cut my olives out. Reverse Confetti does have confetti cuts that will die cut out your olives, and I'll list it below if you guys want to check it out. For my dad's sentiment, I adhered a piece of fun foam to some black cardstock. It's adhesive backed, so I'm just going to run this through my die cutting machine. It's pretty thick, and when I run it through my die cutting machine, the letters stay, so kind of have to peel them out carefully, but I do want a little bit of dimension to my dad's sentiment. Once they're all popped out, the release paper stayed on my backing sheet, so I just removed them, and so they're already adhesive back, stuck them to my craft mat. In the meantime, we're going to find lots of goodies for our cards today. These are the pattern papers that I chose. Some very neutral dark tones, green tones, kind of match the olives that we created. And again, there's lots of different paper pads, but I'm thinking with masculine cards or dad's cards, I'm thinking texture. So I brought in some wood hearts. We're going to bring in some natural twine. I think if you had some kind of a dark wire, I think that would be fun on a Dad's Day card. I'm bringing in a plaid print that looks like one of my husband's shirts, a newspaper print, and then like a mappy, dark, crafty colored print, some corrugated cardstock, a small piece of black cardstock, and then some green two-tone pattern paper. And I think this is going to work out great for our card today. So just go through your stash, find all these elements, and you can make a quick and easy Dad's Day card. I'm going to adhere this panel to some craft cardstock. It's just a craft cardstock panel that measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. My green plaid paper measures 4 inches by 5 1/4, so it's slightly smaller. I'm going to go ahead and grab my white card base and adhere my panel to my card base. If you want to create a craft card base, you can do that, make it easier and skip a step, but I don't mind adhering it to a white card base. It just makes it more legible for my sentiment on the inside here. Okay, now next, let's see. We have our twine. We're going to eventually add some twine, but I do want to add this print behind on top of our plaid paper. Before we trim this down though, I looked through my kitchen to try to find toothpicks. Believe it or not, I wanted to put some toothpick skewers through my olives, kind of like a martini. Couldn't find any toothpicks. I found some super thick bamboo skewers for shish kebabs, which I don't know why I have those, but I found those, but they were too thick. So I thought we'd make our own toothpicks, little picks with this pattern paper. Basically, you just angle it in your paper trimmer and trim out some thin triangle shaped picks. I did trim down another panel, and we're going to adhere that directly on top of our pattern paper here. And then we have some white cardstock that's slightly smaller than that one print. It is 2 3/4 inches wide, guys. I'm going to go ahead and adhere some of my corrugated cardstock. Lots of texture, like I said. Just a thin strip of craft colored corrugated cardstock, but if you have any color corrugated paper, go ahead and grab that, guys. I'm going to go ahead and adhere that thin strip of green pattern paper right below it, and then we're going to adhere that to a 3/4 inch piece of, actually it's a 1 inch strip of black cardstock. And I wasn't sure if I wanted it all the way to the top or if I wanted it sandwiched with a little black showing on top or bottom, and that's what I opted for. I like the way this looks. I like the stripes. I have excess overhanging, so I'll trim that off with my scissors. Okay, now I'm going to take that natural twine and we're going to wrap it around our card base a few times, about 3 or 4 times, just to give it that rustic look. I'm not going to tie a bow with it. I will end up tying a knot with it, but we're going to wrap it a few times towards the bottom. And the bow you're not, or the knot you're not going to really see if you don't want to. You could have it exposed if you want, but I'm just going to kind of shorten the tails of the twine right after my knot, and then that's good to go. So lots of textures. Next, I have the newspaper print, and if you want, I wasn't sure if I wanted to use vellum or the newspaper print, and I opted for the newspaper print, but I wanted a long skinny heart, and I don't have a die set for that, so I'm just going to take some scratch white paper and create my own long skinny heart. Easy to do, just fold your paper in half and cut out with your scissors half a heart. Very easy. I'm going to use this as a template, flip over my pattern paper, and then draw behind it. This, at an angle too, because I want my print not to be up and down, but at an angle. And then I can just use my scissors and trim along my pencil line, and I have a long skinny heart. Now if you want to tear this too, you could, but I think the corner of the heart would be a little bit tough, but I think a torn look would add even more texture. Okay, we're going to adhere our dad. We're going to go vertical, and we're going to go along the right edge of our white panel here that we created, kind of evenly spacing those. And then I'm going to go ahead and add some foam adhesive behind our custom made heart, and I'm going to add 3. One of them, I'm not going to remove the release paper just yet, because we're going to still work on this panel. This one here will save the release paper, and then we're just going to adhere this right next to our sentiment that says Dad. I'm actually going to take the release paper off and put it on top, just so it makes it easier. Okay, now we're going to add the skewers to, or our toothpicks to our olives. I'm going to go, actually, yeah, we're going to take our tape runner, just tack a little tape behind our olive, place it on our angled piece of pattern paper. I think it works just as good as a wooden toothpick. And I'm going to add a foam square. I'm going to make sure it's centered. I'm only going to add 1, only because I like to tuck my olives, and so I wasn't sure where the placement would be. We'll do the same thing to our green olive. And I think that looks fabulous. They do need to be shortened a little bit, so to do that I take a little bit off the top, and then I angle my scissors at the very bottom to trim it and to make it shorter. You can make it any size you want. You can put 2 on a piece if you wanted to. Okay, I'm happy with these. I'll flip these over. We'll add a foam square behind our green olive, and then we're going to add them to the center of our heart, kind of taking away the cutesy heart look, but it kind of goes with all of you. And I think we're going to switch places with the olives. The black's going to go to the left and the green's going to the right. I didn't want the black next to the black sentiment that says Dad. Okay, I added fun foam behind my panel, and I need to double up on that one foam square on the heart, and then we can remove the release paper off of all of our adhesive and place this straight up and down on our card base. Once that's adhered, all we have left is our little wooden stars that I've had for 100 years, and I think I've only used them on masculine cards, but we're gonna figure out our placement, and then we're going to probably go for a triangle shape. Usually if I have 3 of something, I'll put it in a triangle shape. We'll just glue them down, and then that finishes my card, guys, for the Reverse Confetti Stock Your Stash Challenge. Again, this month's theme is moms, dads, and grads. And the nice thing about this challenge too is when you upload your picture to the Reverse Confetti blog, you can see everybody else's picture. So there's lots of inspiration, guys. I encourage you guys to check that out. More details for that are over on my blog. There is not really restrictions, but there is guidelines that you need to follow for the Stock Your Staff Challenge, and I'll list those on my blog if you want to check it out. But I think masculine equals lots of layers and textures, and a couple of olives on some fake skewers. But I hope you like my project today. I thank you so much for joining me, guys. If you want to see still shots, visit my blog along with the details for the Reverse Confetti Stock Your Staff Challenge. Have a great day. Have a great week. We will see you soon. Bye-bye.